back to another episode of the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. Tonight we will have a friend joining us. He'll be joining later because he's currently, doing
learning how to karate chop.
Taekwondo. So Debo will be here. We're gonna get into a lot of fun topics. We're gonna grill each other on bank fishing versus kayak fishing versus boat fishing. I want to see where everybody is at in chat. I want to hear my bank anglers hating on kayakers.
Sound off.
So, all that good stuff. So prepare to be dazzled by our wonderful topic tonight. We're gonna have fun with it though. We're gonna go into like what gear are we using. Like if you go into the bank, like how are you carrying all these rods, all this tackle, all that stuff? Kayak versus, going out on your kayak versus going on your boat and having 48 rods, we're going to get into all that as well as lures, fishing techniques, blah, 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 blah. We got fun stuff to talk about.
We're going to fight.
We are probably going to fight. There will be a Thunderdome and
there will be blood. Is that what you're going to say?
I mean, that too. Thunderdome rules apply. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
1 man leaves.
All right. Before we get into that, I wanted to call out the Kayak Adventure Series. The second stop is in Whitehall, Michigan. This is coming up in like 3 friggin' weeks. It's blowing my mind how close it is. I'm not ready. Paul's not ready in that he won't even be there anyways.
You're ready for the vacation I'll be on.
It
couldn't have been more dead center. It's mathematically the dead center of that vacation.
I don't get it. Why aren't you there? Why aren't you showing up?
Good question. So glad you asked.
Chat, is this a good enough excuse? Family vacation?
We'll be in California camping.
Yeah, take a flight, come out to Whitehall for a day, fish with me, go fly back to California. I don't see the problem. Like, I'm just not understanding your excuse.
Not good at math. Got it. Yeah.
Math is not
math.
Math ain't real, dude. Oh, wow. All right, so Kayak Adventure Series. It'll be, June 7th and 8th?
And 8th.
Yep. So I will be there, be hanging out, representing Triple Anglers, our better half, obviously. And
a whole bunch of other people, too.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people. We're supposed to be, like, holed up in an Airbnb with Drew Gregory and a bunch of these folks. I hope. Otherwise, I'm sleeping in my truck. And, yeah, I mean, or I'll drive 3 hours in the morning. I'm not going to do that. No, it's not happening. But we can fish any water we want around the Whitehall area. So rivers open, lakes are open. Like there's a lot of spots. I've never fished there, so I'm just going to go for broke and like hop into a spot.
In the next couple of weeks, we should get someone from the tournament trail, the Michigan tournament trail, get them on the show and like help us break down some water.
Totally. Somebody help me. Help. I do. I have no idea. I have not even thought about this in terms of like my prep of doing the tournament. So we'll see. I will say one thing I have done for prep is got my Titan X. So the native Titan X is at my house. I installed a fish finder on it. Yay. And then today I was working on the XI3.
What's an XI3?
The Motor Guide XI3 trolling motor. I did get the GPS one, and I'm excited about it. I'm almost done. I'm like 90% done. Actually, the last thing I have to do, I haven't like set up the XI3. I almost broke it twice. Of course. I mean, that's like natural process of installing anything on a kayak.
Yeah.
I tapped the foot pedal. So it's like sitting on my kayak stand. I was testing the tension on the foot pedal pull system that
I need to do that. That's my last.
Bro, I almost broke it because you're not supposed to drop it on dry land. So yeah, XI3 shoots out. This thing, it freaking just ejects itself into the water. So when you're not in the water, it just shoots out and like the whole boat bounced. I was like, oh God.
That's like when I was pulling out my kayak on my own with the Hobie and the whole back end, the wheels weren't locked. The cart shot backwards. The whole kayak falls from 4.5 feet flat, just so with batteries, electronics, just boom, 4-foot drop onto concrete. And
so that feeling that you had right there, that
right up in my, I think you could have seen the ulcer in my stomach through my eyeball.
That I've been having that feeling all day today. Like my office pot is down. I'm in my basement, you guys. Like I had to move downstairs. Oh, Look at those things. We'll talk about those in a minute. I'm in the basement because my office pod is electrically not functioning.
It has nothing to do with the state of your marriage. Or does it?
Actually, speaking of the state of my marriage, guess what? Where do you think I'm going with this?
I don't know. It can't be good.
Today is my 15-year anniversary. Isn't that insane? And I'm here hanging out with you nerds. Like, I'm gonna get a divorce over this. It's totally fine. Like, it's worth. You guys are worth it. But yeah, today is 15 years. We both. I don't know any like married couples out there. We forget every year. We both do. Literally, it'll be the day of, and then like my mom or her mom will be like, "Hey, by the way, happy anniversary." And then we'll be like, "Oh yeah," and then we'll text each other and be like, "Okay, I love you."
Well, after like 7 or 8, it's kind of like,
bro. After 5, it's just like it's just a day. Like we just had Mother's Day too. It's always like smack dab next to Mother's Day.
Too. Yes.
So, anyways, I love my wife. She doesn't watch this. She doesn't care about this show,
Couldn't care less.
It's yeah. I've been married for 15 years. Freaking nuts. Anyways, that's not the reason I'm in the basement. Yeah, the pod is, I promise, pod is broken. So I got to get that thing fixed. And then I was working on the kayak. I had to go register with the state of Michigan to be able to use a motor on the kayak. Today's been nuts. It's been a crazy day. But anyways, yeah, so Kayak Adventure Series, June 7th, June 8th. You guys should come out. Just register. You'll probably get a prize just by registering. So just do the thing. And you'll get
$100 prize pack for the first, like, what, 100 people?
I think it was for the first 100 people. That's
sick.
Yeah.
And then there's everybody's on there.
Yeah, there's all sorts of sponsors. I think New Canoe is like the main kayak sponsor of this one. I think Torquedo is involved, or Newport. I can't remember which one. GoPro, a whole bunch of other ones. And then, yeah, there'll be like really cool stuff going on. I'm excited for it. Whitehall's a really like cool area too. There's a lot of good water and a lot of cool places to hang out.
I mean, if it were me,
is it?
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
Okay. Secrets. I got it. All right. You tell me later. So that's Kayak Adventure Series. A little update on the kayaks. Paul has installed his Newport NK 180 Pro. He wasn't going to do it this week, but last night we were talking about it. It was about 11 when we got off after our members only live, which shout out to our members for supporting
Banger last night.
We had a really fun episode last night, behind the scenes talk, all that cool stuff. So we get off the podcast, and then unbeknownst to me, Paul just like storms out to his garage with his ADHD rage, and he just knocks it out. I get it. Like, we're the same ADHD. Yeah. I do the same thing all the time, dude.
Like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to bed early. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to build a miniature version of the Eiffel Tower in my basement.
Well, I'm glad that you did it, even though we're not going to fish it this weekend. So last piece of news will be that this weekend we're going to be hanging out with this guy who just is joining us live, coming to you live. It's Debo's Fishing.
Luckily, everything worked here. I had to restart quick before. My wife was working on the computer, so hopefully no freezes.
The timing was clutch, though, because I was just about to say, hey, we're going to be hanging out with these guys, and you popped on. So, yeah, we're going to be hanging out with Debo and Ethan Do Better, otherwise known as Fish Anything, and we're going to be fishing in Michigan. We're dragging you all the way to Michigan. I feel bad because we're driving like 2 hours, and you're driving like 5 hours.
Yeah, it'll be close to 6-hour drive. That's all right. I'm excited.
How did you get the short stick? Like, I'm sorry, dude.
I don't know. Yeah, you all cried about it enough that I was like, finally, I'll drive over there. So, I mean, whatever you guys need.
I did sob a few times when we were talking about this. I'm excited about it, though. So we're going to like Kalamazoo-ish area, and there's a lot of good water out there. We got rivers, we got lakes, we got ponds. There's so many content ideas that are floating around. We got to figure out, really nail down like what videos we want to do. What's like the first video you want to do, Debo?
Dude, I have no clue. I want to fish. I want to hang out. Maybe pick your guys' brains on the kayaks.
The kayak.
Yeah, that's about it. Hopefully, maybe do some frogging because I heard one of those lakes is supposed to be froggy. So,
yes, that would be amazing.
The veggies are high too because we did not get the thaw the ice that we normally get. So a lot of what is usually like mud right now is actually pretty green.
Yeah,
like it.
The water's looking good. We did have a topwater day last weekend. Like last weekend, we were fishing
a micro mouse.
The BFS mouse.
I'm bringing this for you. I'm packing a bag of stuff for you guys, and this is the micro frog.
Yes,
you can throw.
Oh, I will throw
heavily.
That's gonna be a blast. So yeah, I mean, obviously we get some fishing content. We had an idea come out of our members only live last night, which was I have, oh my gosh, a ton of tackle. So I got the Bank & Creek bag, 6 cents bag, Dark Horse box, Grumpy Baits Co., which is like a bunch of goby baits.
I have one right over there from
Grumpy. Sounds like the store that I should own.
Yeah,
that's me lately.
Small Canadian bait company. They got legit packaging.
Oh, of course they're grumpy. They're from Canada. I would be grumpy as hell too.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, product looks great though. So I mean, we got that, and then we've got from a subscriber, Raka, we got a box as well. So we might like divide and conquer. Like everybody grab a bag, go fish, do like an hour of that, just have some fun with it. We would also love to do a collaborative. I'm gonna have a stroke today, Paul. I swear to God. Like it's over. It's done. Like I'm out. That's it. Signing off for the last time. We would love to collab on an unboxing because we have so many baits to talk about. So I'd love to do that.
I'm down for whatever, man.
Sweet. We're gonna eat hamburgers. We're gonna go fishing. We're gonna have some fun. So I'm very excited for it. And we will make it worth the time. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's the last. That's it for the news. Yeah. We are on to the Q of the D, everyone's favorite part of the show. This one, I'm just gonna read what I wrote. Easiest way to catch a body bag while driving on the road. So last night on our members only, we were talking about like things that would like set you off, like that would make it like. If you're already mad, you're at like a 9.9. And like, what's the one little thing that's guaranteed to just send you into a rage? One of them would be like you're doing dishes and you're cleaning a spoon and you splash water on yourself. I don't know why that makes me so mad, but I'm instantly enraged. If I spill one drop of coffee, one drop on the way out the door when I've got 19 bags and all my kids' stuff.
Yeah.
Your lives within earshot are all forfeit, every single one.
The worst is when you're washing like a spoon. The spoon's always, and it's no, when you're like scrubbing a spatula and then the spatula flexes and then just shoots water at your face. That's the worst. Or like
enraged,
like a pan, right? Like you're cleaning out a cake pan and you just hit the corner.
And the one thing that came up that sent us on a whole different line of thought was road rage.
Yeah.
So like,
so is this body bag for you or the other person that caused
the other person? Every person within reach. We had Paul and I were going back and forth for like 5 or 10 minutes.
It wasn't even
members only. It was not hard. We were just like rapid fire.
So the question would be, what sets you into a road rage? Like what and like DEFCON 12. You're going to call the president. We're going to have a discussion about how to fix this for the country. That's how mad you are.
So Debo,
mine is when there's a lane ending and it's very obvious. Everybody knows about it. Every other
except this one guy,
6 guys, and they can't figure it out. And they think that their ish is more important than your ish. And they decide, you know what? F every person for 2 miles behind me. I will be cutting all of you. That person is getting wrecked. You're not getting by me. I'm Dale Earnhardt, Jr. and Senior, and I've got all lanes blocked. I don't care what you do. It will be overt, and it's going to be aggressive. That sets me off.
So mine would probably be people running stoplights / I guess you don't really see it with stop signs as much, but definitely stoplights around here. People love to red. I'm just going to keep going. Almost got T-boned and smoked on my bike, on my motorcycle, and that's why I gave it up. Like it had to have been within inches. I mean, it was clearly like green.
It wasn't
looked
orange.
Up. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was, and I looked. I mean, I looked to my right, nothing, and I don't know. They must have been flying, but Yeah, I almost got smoked, and that was the day I was like, I don't want to ride a motorcycle any longer.
Same.
So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
My ultimate probably is when people turn out onto a highway going 25 miles under the speed limit, and then they stay there. It's not like they were just like, oh shoot, a person's behind me, I'll accelerate. It's like, oh good, a person's behind me, heck them, and I hope they have a terrible life. And then they just keep going slow.
You know what might be worse than that? When folks don't like control their speed.
Yep.
They're driving on vibes.
They've never heard of cruise control.
They don't know what's behind them. They don't care what's in front of them.
Brandizzle is the freaking worst at that. Following him anywhere has never heard of cruise control.
Why? It makes life so much worse for everyone around
cruise control.
Everybody around you's pissed. Yeah. I don't get it.
So I got a new one for you. So we were talking about this last night. And then part of why my day was absolute hell, the seventh circle of hell today, was this one incident that was my fault, but it happened in a vehicle, so it counts for road rage today. So check this out. I'm going to Secretary of State. I got an appointment at 12 o'clock. It's 30 minutes away. I have 30 minutes because that's how I play life, bro. So I'm backing down my driveway. Paul knows how steep my driveway is. Backing down. I had to like grab my lunch, and I was like, I'll just eat while I drive, because I do that a lot. I used to do it all the time. So I've got like my dish of food, right? Microwave ready, delicious. I'm excited for it. Yeah.
Were you eating like a plate of nachos while you're driving?
Give you dinner? Do you have a hungry man?
You think I had a plate of nachos?
You're talking about
no.
What did you have?
I meal prep every week. So we had like for this week it was an Asian meal. It's like rice. We did beef, and then like you do slaw, broccoli.
So you had a hot dish.
It was delicious, right? So it would have been if I had it. So I had it in my hands, right? I set it on that. I now that I have the same mid console as you, it's the Dodge Ram giant console, right? It's sitting there, back down my driveway, super steep, and then rear wheel drive kicks in, slides out in the mud. So ABS takes over, and it's like, "Don't worry, bro, I got you." Slams brakes. My Asian food is ejected to the back seat, just everywhere. And I'm like, it was one of those moments I've never like yelled so loud, like to no one. I just screamed to the universe. And I deserved the body bag for that one. So I was like, way to go, bud.
You, bro.
Way to go, bud. So I also still made my appointment on time.
I just imagine you with like a plate of, I don't know, eggs Benedict, and you're like, oh, I will now.
You think I brought a plate?
Go race on a highway on the curviest road ever built, and I'll get hollandaise sauce everywhere, and I'm gonna be mad about it afterwards.
I love that you think eating in a vehicle means that I brought like a 5-course meal. Like I had
telling me you didn't have steak frites right after that.
I wish I did, but no, I didn't. It's just like a Ziploc container, bro.
Yeah. Anyways, well, there you go. There's 3 things to not do on the highway. Some you don't do as the driver, and some you just don't want to see. But we're here to talk about bank versus kayak fishing. They are very different. They're different
versus
galaxies.
Boat.
We have verses in here, but really we're gonna chit chat a little bit about each one and kind of talk about the pros and cons. And then after that, we're going to do like top 5 techniques for like bank versus kayak fishing versus maybe boat fishing. Yeah. I have a hard time speaking about boat fishing because when most people think about boat fishing, they're talking about like a bass boat, you know, like a fiberglass bass boat,
as in
or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just think like the biggest differentiator between that kind of boat and a regular boat would be like the rod locker. So I think of bass boat fishing as anything with like a rod locker and at least one electronic screen.
Right.
I reckon that's not the same as a John boat. So I'm putting John boat and like that's the Illumiac now, and they're kind of in the same category because you have the same kind of limitations for the most part. So general discussion, it's open. Let's start with, I want to start with bank fishing. What do we think are like the pros and cons of bank fishing? Because there are times when like it's an itch. The only thing that's going to scratch it is you walk in that's my opinion, walk in the bank.
Yeah. Debo, what do you think, man?
Definitely top of the list is time. I mean, you don't have to worry about the loading, unloading, which takes, 30 minutes to an hour, let's say, loading and unloading all your stuff.
Overall,
overall there and back, unloading it and then loading it. So like if you've only got an hour or 2 hours to fish, for me, it just makes more sense to get out for a couple hours, fish, and I get home. I don't have to worry about like, if you've got a boat, do you have to hook it up? Do you have to move stuff around? Do you got to dry it? Yeah. all that crap. I get home, I put my truck in park, go inside, I'm done, you know? So
that's so huge. So like if it's a couple hours till we need to upload a video and I don't have one, I'll just run to the bank and I can just go fish something and be like, video knocked out. Whenever I'm limited on time to edit like a fishing video, that's my go-to, because I live on a lake where there is a long stretch of bank. It's honestly like, we were talking about this on the members only last night. Like, there's not a lot of bank fishing spots around us. So I don't know about you.
Us.
Yeah, we've got a lot. I mean, we've got, obviously I did, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but for, for the longest time, I only did bank fishing. I didn't have.
I was going to say, I watched your videos for years before there was even a boat in the picture. And I'm like, that was
the evolution of Debo. Like, he went from bank fishing to the Alumayak. Now he's got a kayak. So, I mean, it was part of like why we decided to do this episode this way, is like, you can speak to all those experiences, right?
Yeah, and I've grown up in a boat. I mean, my dad's always had a boat since, forever. So I'm very comfortable fishing out of a bass boat, all of them. So
fair enough. What kind of boat did you fish out of mostly?
Let's see. It was a Bass Tracker was the first one when I was young. The John boat was the first one when I was little. The John boat that I have, that was the one he had back in 1982 or whatever when he bought it.
Yeah.
Then a Bass Tracker, something in between, and now he's got a Lund. It's like a deep V, river boat, and
Those are walleye.
Yep, walleye and all the manor type fishing that he does and all that. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, like, so my dad had it was a smaller boat. It was like
sorry, not a Lund. Now that I think about that,
what is it?
Anyway, Alumacraft, not a Lund.
I got you.
Real big deal, but
yeah. So like growing up, we had like I want to say it was like 17 and a half feet, 18 feet. My dad still has it. This old as heck boat. It was called Burley's Barge, named after my grandpa. That was like his nickname.
I have to go.
I totally stole it for this.
While you're telling this, I'll be right back.
Okay. But we fished out of that. It was mainly just like Lake Michigan, Lake Huron. And that was my boat experience. But we're doing like perch fishing, maybe walleye, like not the kind of fishing that we're doing now. Never had an experience other than like being in somebody else's bass boat. Like, I've never been in that. Drink. Okay, fine.
Did you see how spry Debo was out of that chair? He must be in real.
I saw that taekwondo, man. Like
taekwondo.
Taekwondo.
I will say my favorite part about bank fishing. Do you ever, I used to experience this so badly.
Yeah.
The anticipation you get, like when you're getting ready to go fishing, and you're kind of like a little giddy, excited. You're like a kid for a little bit. When you walk like 300 yards to get to your spot, that is like borderline overwhelming. Like I get like that. It's almost anxiety, and it was like that for years when I would go from a kayak to go bank fishing, because I would be like, the anticipation of getting to that spot, picking, you know what I mean, and like catching a fish was like too much for me for like years.
That's funny to me. It's like,
you never experienced that where you're like, I almost want to jog. Like, I'm walking, but I'm like, oh my God, I should be.
I mean, I get excited.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I get excited. I'm always like running scenarios through my head, like, oh, dude, like as I'm walking, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be a topwater bite tonight? Is it? I bet that spinner bait would do. Like, I'm always like, just
yes, and I'm but that is literally. I'm not exaggerating. The excitement of the whole thing overwhelms me. It almost puts me in anxiety because I'm so like, I just want to get over there.
Yeah, I would say I've always been really excited about it. I've definitely calmed down a lot over the years, and like to the point where I'm just like, what's tied on right now? Bam, we're fishing this right now.
I'm ready.
But yeah,
I still get excited, giddy like a kid at the morning drives. Early morning drives when I go there are my favorite. When it's like dark, 4:30.
Never get to do that anymore.
Super early in the morning.
Yeah. I definitely want to do that more. For me, it's the day before prep. That's where like my excitement comes in. So Paul's is like running up to the bank. Mine is, I mean, I'm also excited there for sure, but like the day before, I get that day box out, I get all nerded up on it, I get excited. So that's where mine is. Feather Outdoors, thanks for the super chat, man. Thanks guys for providing such a wholesome show. 3 of the realest dudes out there. We're just missing Ethan. Yeah, Ethan is busy. He's got family stuff going on. We did invite him. He's not like snubbing you guys. He wasn't like, oh no, I don't want to talk to them. He's a father.
He's just putting in the brownie hours so that he can go guilt-free this weekend.
He is going on the trip this weekend, so I totally get that for sure. I don't know how I got into the trip this weekend. Like, it's my anniversary today. So this weekend I was like, well, also this weekend I'll be gone.
Well, after this weekend will be your divorce, so that's fine.
You don't have to worry about it after this week.
No. 15
I got
years,
a lot of free time to fish now.
Hey guys,
15 years. I've got so many accrued brownie points, you have no idea. Like endless amounts. I'm like Scrooge McDuck. I just dive into my brownie points.
That's what all the
and
divorce guys say.
What did you say?
Huh?
What did you say?
That's what all the divorce guys say. Yeah, no, I just have a lot of brownie points. No, you are
not
affiliated with that individual anymore.
That would confirm that they don't have the brownie points. I do. We'll see. You'll all see.
I'm gonna drive by. I'm gonna hear Rachel screaming 17 miles away off 94. What the fuck?
We planned this like what 2 months ago.
Yeah,
she already okayed it. We're fine. So yeah. Anyways, back to bank fishing. Shall we?
As soon as I tell her about it, she's gonna be fine with
it. You think I didn't tell her? I've been married for 15 years, man. I know a thing or two about asking permission.
You never tell her
until it comes this weekend. Hey, don't forget I have that thing this weekend. What? You never told me that.
Yes, I did.
Well, we have
it's on the calendar. You gotta have the family calendar. Access the family calendar. You're safe.
If you want to be successful in 2024, a family Google Calendar is a must.
Money moves, you guys, because nobody can be like, "Oh, I didn't know we were doing that."
Marriage saver. Like I'll be. You forget stuff. I do it all the time. I'm a bad person. I can't. It's mostly I just don't know which weekend it is. Like I'll have it in the ballpark in my head, but I don't have the exact day.
I don't know what day it is.
And so I'll like you're at the doctor's office. Hey, when do you want the next checkup to be? Oh, I'll tell you. Bam. This is a good day. Hey, do you want to hang out and go do something after work? Sure. I'd like to go fishing this week. Oh, that weekend's taken. I'll be doing something. The next weekend, yes. Or you can be like Jeff. Sounds good. Now I'll tell her later. Right before we go.
Literally tell her every time, but okay, sure. Also, John Van Dyke, brownie points do expire. Their expiration date is usually around 90 days. If you're 90 days if you're good. But like Mother's Day last weekend, I went hardcore. I was like, I'll do everything. Like you stay right there.
I bought 4 flowers.
I don't buy flowers. It's ridiculous. It's a silly, foolish thing to do. What are you talking about?
Careful, the moms will come at you in force, dog.
All right. Well, tell me you like flowers. Tell me you like flowers dying instantaneously on your counter. It's amazing.
A lot of people do.
Thing.
All right. Aside from just marriage, what else?
I love how this randomly devolved into this.
It really did. It took a turn.
It's your fault.
I know. I will say this for bank fishing too. When you, it's sort of like kayak fishing when like you're fishing with a bunch of boats. It's kind of the same thing. You feel like you're at a disadvantage, and so that when you have success, it's like twice as good. And I will absolutely rub it in people's faces. Like when I have a big fish catch, I know
on the bank,
I caught from the bank, and I'll be like, I caught that one on the bank. Like, oh, look what I did. And
especially if you have to like leverage it up onto like a dock or like off a pier or whatever, and you're just like, dude, I definitely enjoy that, especially if you're into sticks too.
That's
just tucked away.
I would say solidness of ground. You don't have to worry about wind. You don't have to worry about any of the other stuff you have to worry about in, positioning and all that. Now, granted, you can't hit all the angles and stuff you would in a boat or a yak, but you don't have to worry about any of that. I mean, even if it's 20-mile-an-hour wind, it sucks, but you can go out and fish.
Whereas, I would totally agree with that, because I was going to actually mention wind. Until you get into a kayak, even on a bass boat, you can't really appreciate how big of a factor it is. When you're in a kayak, I think you feel a paddle kayak. You feel the most. It's
because you spin like a top. I mean, if you don't have a skeg rudder, like pedals or something, you're just like, woo, like it's done, man. And even with pedals, like how many times have you even been in like your Old Town 106 and just been like, this wind is ridiculous. Even with forward and reverse, like it's not ideal. Which is why I got a GPS trolling motor. I was like, I'm done with this. My trolling motor will anchor me and I'll be good. That's what I want. Yeah. Scott Vermonter, which is everyone. We all
are Scott
Vermonter. I just want everybody to know that.
Even His Debo. Name is Scott Vermonter.
His name is Scott Vermonter. we went hard on a members only live with that.
We did. It was dark.
But shout out to Scott Vermonter, which again is all of us. Quick 2 years, have enjoyed the shows, gentlemen. Thank you. 25 months a member. Appreciate you, man. And just so everybody knows, like, we only do our giveaways on the members only live because it's just such a mess anywhere.
We just did like 10 pounds of tackle last night.
Yeah, I did 2. Here, I'll show you. Right here. Like this size envelope. Debo gets it. Debo's always giving out cool stuff.
What's the question? You're giving that away? I'll take it. What's in it? Unless it's stupid spiders.
I'm bringing you stuff, Debo. You don't
Sorry, I was responding to somebody.
You're good.
I'm bringing you 9 spiders, 9 Lunker Hunt spiders.
Cool. We'll have kindling for the grill.
Yeah, I was about to say. Charcoal, right?
I'm fine with it. We're not using them that much anymore, so I'm just like, all right. So yeah, I mean, like bank fishing, it's a blast. Let's get into like some gear with that. Like, how are you getting all your stuff down to the bank? I kind of like it. I enjoy it for just running light. I don't know about you guys, but it's like with the kayak, I have to grab batteries, fish finder, all the tackle boxes I can carry, plastics, blah blah blah. Like you could run light. Somebody out there is running light. I get it. You like it. I'm cool with that. I have a Native Titan X now. Like I'm loading that sucker down. So she's loaded down. I'll go to the bank. I'm like, backpack, 1 or 2 boxes, 1 or 2 rods. And I love that. I love just having nothing to worry about.
Setup? Because I think you bring a lot of stuff in the truck, right? And then you kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, I have like a small.
Oh, I like that idea.
I don't think it's down here. Yeah, but I have just like a sling pack and then like a little small backpack. I honestly don't carry my big one really anymore unless I'm like hopping in somebody's boat or something. But I've got like a huge like big bag, and that's like just for like really short. It's the
Mock or Ego or
I forget what it is. But anyway, yeah, I carry like the little sling, little sling pack. Then I keep the big bag and then extra boxes in my truck. That way I can just go back and switch stuff without having to carry all of it. Yeah.
It's honestly been so long since we've been able to like have a bunch of bank fishing days, Paul, that I like forget what it's like. Because if I go here, usually like it's just one lure. So I went out and I did the hover rig mid strolling video. I was like, this is all I'm going to bring. And I just brought that and I just fished that. And then I went home.
That's a good way to get better too, though. I mean, if you're a bank angler, you don't have much time. Okay, let's say this year I'm going to work on hover rig, like you're saying. I've only got an hour after work every day. I can take just that with a handful of, plastics and hooks and just go hammer that into oblivion. You find out when it works, doesn't work, where does it work? It's a really good way to simplify it all down.
It's another good like approach to bank angling, right? Because it's your lunch break. It's your like right after work de-stress. I used to do that. I used to keep my Ugly Stick GX2 in my truck. It was just folded in half on the back seat. And then I would always have like a Busby Colony 15, like a 3,600 size box just with some tackle in there. I'd go anywhere. Like that was a blast. So I'd say it's quick to get there. Not a lot of stress to it. You can take your time or do 30 minutes and like have a blast. So I love bank fishing. I don't ever knock anybody who bank fishes. I love that.
Yeah, another thing too is like right now is the perfect time where bank anglers kind of take over up from ice out till now because there's not a bunch of the weeds. You don't have ticks, early on. They're out now for sure. I just had 2 on me. But up through teal spawn, kind of this whole thing. So many people are going shallow anyway. Like you're already there. You don't have to worry about driving around or so.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I also say this about bank fishing. Doing it from an ultralight it's a blast. It's really, really fun. Like it's very rewarding. It's not very difficult. You can't bring much anyways. And that sling pack is loaded with like everything you need. And if you're a unless you're like only like I must catch bass or I must catch something, something specific. Like if you're a good multi-species angler, that I think was a revelation for me. Like when I started fishing, because that's all I did. I was like, if it swims, I want to catch it. I don't care what it is. I don't care how big it is. I just want one. And I want to get another one, another one, another one. And I would just march down a section of river I would cast 3,000 times, and I would cast every lure I had, and I would catch little fish that weren't worth catching, and I would catch occasionally a giant. And that was like, I could do that any day of the week.
Let's be real. It's a gateway, right? Like everybody gets into fishing this way.
Yeah. Are we catching things to do a catch and eat that night too?
We can. Yeah. They have a gas grill, so I can
let's do it. Catch and cook. Ethan mentioned wanting to do that too.
Yeah.
Just bring some seasonings.
Throwing my knife.
Seasoning, oil, and then we're good. Dude, I love it. We'll crush it. That'll be great. And I think we should include in bank fishing, if you guys agree, wading.
100%.
You were thinking the same thing. Like wet wading in the summer is probably my ultimate favorite thing to do ever. Like over kayak fishing. Like I love wading a section of river is so much fun.
Agreed.
It's so fun.
When you have a big smallmouth swim like in between your legs and like tangle you up like you're one of the walkers from Star Wars, like it's oh my god,
go down.
Like
I want the chesty shot of like me or you just going down.
It'd be weird to have your hands down by your ankles, but yes, the otherwise concept is good.
Bird's nest. You're like trying to untangle a bird's nest. You're like, oh no.
It is literally though. It is one of the most fun things you can do. It's so much fun.
Debo, do you ever go? You like wet wade at all?
Creeks, rivers, no, like where you have to do like.
I'm just gonna get my swim trunks on. I've got one sling pack, and I'm gonna go hit it, and I'm gonna walk in the water the whole way.
No.
Bro, we got to get you on that.
Yeah, I'm not getting waders either. Like I just have my knee boots.
No waders.
No, I will come see you, and we will do that.
Yeah, we'll come to you.
And if you want to, you're welcome to come here. We have money.
We've got places to do it. I really just hate having wet feet. I'm not gonna lie. I really hate my feet. Like
you're in a kayak.
You know what you might like?
Oh yeah, I'm either wearing boots or my either my knee boots or my waterproof boots in the kayak. Scupper holes plugged. I don't want any of that BS of like water sloshing around.
I don't want to get wet.
Yeah, I don't want to get wet.
Speaking of that, I'm editing our Bixby review right now, and I was watching a clip of Paul testing the Bixby in his old town, and under his seat is just a geyser. You never look down there when you're kayaking, right? But like from the front angle camera we used, I can just watch a geyser of water shooting into your boat.
Built-in bidet.
My boat,
your kayak, your plastic vessel was full of water
now because that's covered now.
Yeah,
with stuff.
Well, whatever's there is soaked. But yeah, Debo, who cares? Debo, what you might like is like I got these neoprene socks. Like you just wear a neoprene sock, throw on like old tennis shoes. Nice. It keeps the rocks out. Your feet, it's neoprene. Like they're warm. It doesn't feel like a big deal being wet, but I don't know. You could try that. It's an option.
Yeah, or I just won't go wading. I mean,
or fine, like you walk the bank. We'll be in the river.
If it's really hot, it would be fine. I would still wear like old shoes or something, and then just do it that way.
I wear shoes because the river is. You never know what you're gonna step into. I've done it before many times.
Like
I actually
shale.
I'll get a little bit of shale.
Breaks
off into your heel. You don't do anything about it, and you fish for 6 more hours. Then you drive home an hour and a half sitting, not having like any pressure on it. Then you try and play with your kids and you realize that you're actually lame. And then you go to the emergency room. They pick around horribly with tools in your heel. They do nothing for you. Ooh. You leave thinking it just hurts.
Explodes.
You take a bunch of drugs. You go to bed, sleep, but then at 3 a.m. you wake up in the most excruciating pain you've ever felt, only to, in a blind haze of pain, drive to the emergency room, have them pick through your foot yet again unsuccessfully, and then you just gut it out for the next 3 days.
Speaking of road
wear
rage,
shoes, and that was through a pair of Crocs. That's how sharp that shit.
Yeah, that's when you ditched the Crocs. Like you decided that day.
Surgical.
Those Crocs had to be changed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was not good. I appreciate you being a trooper though, man. Like you still fished the whole day, so. Nice.
We did stick it out, and it was the whole day.
that was the beginning of the trip. That was right at the beginning.
We had done nothing.
We weren't even in the water yet, and you still fished the whole day. So there you go. It's great. All right. So bank fishing. Any other thoughts? I mean, do we want to talk like gear, like how we actually get down to the water? Because I think there's some pretty cool gear out there.
Well, I want to talk. If we're gonna talk gear, we could talk that at the end because I've got 3 questions, and it's kind of like within each one, like category. So we're gonna do it for bank, kayak, and maybe boat. What might be different, but what would be your top 5 techniques? So like as a bank fisherman, I would have a totally different recommendation set than like a boat or a kayak fisherman. And especially if it's like, I'm not saying these are only 5 you can have, but what would be like the top 5 things where you were like, I'm going to build a day box. I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm going to be bank fishing for bass. What would be in the in the top 5?
I'll let Debo go first on this one.
We can. Well, what's your number one? We'll all go through and
go one at a time. All right. Your number one. Okay, this is your go-to.
It like I can only have one lure. You get one
frog.
What are you tying onto it? What was yours?
Frog.
Frog is a good one. I would say
it really depends on time of year, but I mean, if we're saying like nowish, frog.
Yeah, but some weedless kind of top water, great option.
Frog.
That's a frog.
Frog. Yeah, you explained a frog really well.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. We're gonna try a JDM frog this weekend. That's what we're gonna do. I would say for where we fish, Ned rig or jig.
For the bank.
Solid one.
For the bank. Yeah, we're talking bank fishing.
EWG Ned.
EWG Ned.
One of those.
Some weedless with a weight on top with a hook.
I would
and a stick bait.
Okay.
Dude, I've caught the most fish in my life on a Ned doing that from the bank.
Yeah. What I want to say is probably gonna be my number one for the kayak would be some sort of like medium to small size swim jig, like an open hook swim jig. Like and a moving bait, I feel like not always the best, but you can run on the bottom if you had to.
Yeah.
So it kind of does everything. So that was gonna be mine, but honestly, it's really hard to like chatterbait or spinnerbait. Like I think
from the bank,
chatterbait, a moving bait of some sort.
If I bring 2 combos, that's one of them.
That's going to be one of them.
Always.
So I would say from the bank, I'd probably say, and that they don't get hung up that much. Like a spinnerbait is surprisingly resilient, and
even a chatterbait,
I think actually are shockingly like kind of like inline spinners. You're always like, how am I not getting hooked up on every cast?
It bounces off.
It just does. And I think that it's kind of the same thing. I would say chatterbait.
That's a good number one. That was going to be my number 2. But real quick, before we get our number 2, we got Rocket Blades here. Remember, for 34 months, almost 3 years, dude. Had a new lake open last month, less than an hour from me, and still haven't gotten to fish it. Hoping to go next week with a buddy. My daughter is really excited to see you guys open the box. We're excited to open the box.
I am too.
I can't wait.
Literally by the door. That's how eager I am to get it out that door and into the truck.
If she's gonna get the 4 of us opening the box, man, not just me and Paul. We got Debo and Ethan. We're all gonna just dive in. It's gonna be great. Dude, I love that. Yeah, and I also want to call out, this is another great option from the bank. It's not my number 2, but it's very close. But yeah, micro Texas rig. This is your number 2, Debo? Texas.
Yeah, it was either going to be Ned rig or a Texas rig. Kind of depends on where I'm at, but yeah, one of those two. If it's really rocky, Ned rig, I mean, is great. But if it's like wood, grass, or a Texas rig, would have to be number 2. Yeah,
I agree, man. Option. That was going to be my number 2. Was something weedless, and you can't beat a Texas rig because it's like unlimited bait possibilities. Like you can go.
And I think when I say Texas rig, I'm thinking like a weighted Texas rig, so I can flip it, pitch it, crawl it, drag it. Because another one would be either like a fluke or a weightless stick bait. Would have to be up there as well for bank fishing.
That's what I was getting there. We're rounding out this 5 really quick. So I'm right now, like I was Ned, chatterbait was going to be my 2nd, then Texas, and then you're taking me right into my 4th, which would be like the weightless anything, stick bait, fluke.
You wouldn't have a spinnerbait in the top 4.
You know me, chatterbait versus spinnerbait. I'm a chatterbait guy.
Spinnerbait. I forgot about chatterbait. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Thanks.
Well, I was like,
am I good? Am I okay?
To me, I think in your top 2,
I didn't know there were rules established.
You gotta have I think you gotta have either a Texas rig or some kind of like moving bait, like a bladed bait for like in the top, at least top 3.
Chatter is one of my go-tos. I feel very confident from the bank with the chatterbait
in the summer, but also in the spring and the fall. Like I feel like there's not really a time where it's like, oh, that definitely won't work.
Winter ice with ice. It could work though. Yeah. All right. So what are we on? 3? What are your guys' number 3? Because I just said mine.
Mine would be the small swim bait.
Small swim bait.
Yeah.
Debo.
Well, mine would be either the Texas rig or Ned rig. So those are my 2-3 interchangeable.
Oh, gotcha.
So the frog, Texas rig, Ned rig. That's 1, 2, 3.
What would come after that?
That's number 4.
The weightless stick bait or fluke.
Yeah,
would be 4.
The weightless.
And then 5, you guys already covered it. Probably is if I 100% didn't know where I was going, I'd probably have to say swim jig just for versatility. But it would probably be, I would say chatterbait. I think I can get away with a chatterbait in more spots than a spinnerbait, even though, I don't know.
That's how I feel too. I'm like so much more confident with it, which doesn't make sense. They're both great. But I typically grab chatter first. And then if that doesn't work, I'm like, fine, I'll try a spinnerbait.
Yeah.
We have so many grassy lakes here that I feel like the spinnerbait's situational. Certain spots, certain places, it's like amazing, but so many of them just get all vegified.
Gummed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say my number 4 would be a shallow diving suspending jerkbait. Actually, like I feel super confident with that.
Dang.
It's shallow enough you're not getting hung up from the bank because it's shallow. I'm cool with it. I'm comfortable.
2, 3 trebles by the trees.
Dude, I fished around
both a floater. Especially if you go with a floating jerkbait. I mean,
it's a banger.
If you're in the grass, go floating and like you're gonna be fine. Just let it float back up. Ease it back into the shore. I've done that like over heavy cover, like where you're like 2 feet from the bank and you got to cast over that stuff. I do that with a jerkbait. I feel confident with that.
Pause it right on the edge of that grass line and
just watch it get inhaled.
It's amazing. I would say my number 5 would be a popper.
Well, I was gonna say like a prop bait, like a whopper
buzz or a whopper would be great,
and then a buzz bait. And it's you know what it's whatever
you can get through everything.
No wrong answer. The whopper plopper is maybe a little more versatile because you can stop it.
Yep.
So like you can kind of slow it
and
down.
You just fan cast it around your spot.
You can't do that really with a buzz bait. So maybe you get the nod towards the whopper plopper, but it's a killer morning night bite.
Yeah.
Like you get like a big 2-hour window, and it's somewhere in that 2-hour window when the sun's going down, you're gonna find 20 minutes where that's the only thing in town, and fish are wrecking it. So that I don't know. Yeah. That would be my top 4 or 5.
Similarly, topwater, like that's why I like a popper for that. Because same thing, like I can hit it everywhere and like it doesn't get hung up that much. It's floating, obviously, that helps. But yeah, even if you're over grass, 2 trebles, and it's small enough, it's easy enough to like kind of just pop out of stuff, no issues.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you get destroyed on those things. I've had so many good bites from the bank on a popper.
Some baits that are purposely not going to be in my top 5 that would normally be in my top 5 though. If it was from the kayak, lipless,
a lot of cranks, lipless
crankbaits, man. Yeah. Like I'm not even throwing a square bill, really. Like unless it's like the right situation, I would.
You got a rocky spot. So
other things.
The river. Whenever I fished the Grand, for example, I used to always take a square bill from 100%. The bank. Yeah, but it's different from like where we're fishing now. I wouldn't. So I think it was Joshua here called out no square bill. I love that. I'm calling it a square bill.
A squirrel forever. I actually I dig that. I
think we stick with that.
But it's like squirrel. It's called like the creature that climbs upside down.
Yep. But yeah, I'm typically not throwing those around here because it's too grassy.
But like a lipless, it would be.
It's gonna be a rip bait that day.
It would always be in my top 10, but like that's gonna suck. Spinnerbait.
I think that's one of the best from the bank. Like once you get into treble hook baits, is a lipless because you can control where it's at. Yep. Unlike a X diver or X jerkbait,
you can't bring them up.
Right.
Yeah. I was also
yo-yo especially early spring. You can yo-yo a jerkbait and kind of get lipless and kind of get the same action as a lipless.
Yeah, like my trademark.
Jesus, you can yo-yo a lipless and kind of get the same action as you would jerkbait. Get it to that certain spot and just kind of
shimmy.
It's pretty versatile. Yeah.
So totally fair. I like Paco's choice here with the topwater walking bait, like a spook. I enjoy that too because again, going kind of with what you're thinking there with the yo-yo, you can control it. You can control with the walking bait that speed, the cadence of that walk, drive them nuts, and just let it sit forever. Some will hit it. It's a good option. Probably my number 6. I would throw it out there. But that's like, did we get Debo's 5th? Your 5th?
The chatterbait / swim jig. Yep.
Fair enough. So there's 5 for bank. Let's go to the kayak because it's interesting how it changes. And
it's so different for me.
I totally get all the pros that we talked about with bank fishing. And obviously there's a big old con there where it's like you can't get to certain spots. You just can't. They're inaccessible. You got lakes like us around here. It's mostly private housing. So it's like there's a small beach that you could fish from. That's obviously not the best spot. You can catch fish there. It's just not the best spot on the lake. And you can't just like hop off on someone's lawn and you go fish, unfortunately.
Well, you can, but
I mean, you could. It's not a good idea. But if you film it, you'll get like 3 million views. So try it.
Because it'll be a funeral. The ending shot is a funeral.
Karen kicked me off her own yard.
Oh, yeah. Those are the best now.
Karen made me
now
my own death.
They've been the best.
All right.
Karen's and Kyle's. Yeah, so when we move to the kayak, like it opens up the water to you. I mean, versus a boat opens up big water a lot better. Kayak to me opens the small to medium water.
Ponds,
just fine. Yeah. You want to hop on a pond? Easy peasy. You go throw and go kayak, you can get out there pretty easily as well. It doesn't take a lot of time to set up if you're going ultralight setup. If you got a bigger setup, you got batteries, trolling motors, things like that. Obviously, you got a lot more prep that'll go into it. But again, you can get to spots out on the water. You can go fish deep. You can go fish the middle of the lake. You can go out to that island that you can't bank fish, all of that stuff. It opens up so many doors. And then it changes our top 5 lures. So Debo, what's like your number one? Now that you're a kayak guy, what's your number one?
So I'm still fishing the same lakes and everything around here, just like I normally would, but just from a boat. My number one lure would still be a frog.
The frog. Dude, I feel like it should be in our top 5. And it's just that we just don't
just you can throw it anywhere. Names. I mean, it doesn't matter if
totally
you get it caught in trees, grass, you can run long grass lines. Like there's no knocking a spook or a pop or anything, but like you get caught. If there's any little bit of grass, it's a pain in the arse.
Yeah. I mean, 100% true. I need to fish a frog more this year. I just need to commit to it. Like I'm confident enough with it. I'm not confident with where I'm fishing it at the moment on a lot of the waters.
Well, we were where we frogged last year. We ended up doing a lot more gravity bait work.
We did.
What?
Yeah. Poop baits.
Oh.
The high density plastics. Yeah, they call them gravity, heavy stick baits.
Yeah, the Yamatanuki
high density.
Really
the Yamatanuki is our favorite.
Yeah.
So what size did you get?
I've only used the 3.5. The 2.5 didn't seem like it made any sense to me, but like the Texas rig 3.5 for bouncing out like a jig, especially speaking for bank anglers, it's just like a jig, a soft jig that's completely weedless. So
it's so much slower sink rate, which is a huge benefit, especially in slack water.
Yeah.
Dude, you're running it like a flipping bait. So it's not going to get hung even less than a jig is. It's crazy.
Yeah, and see, I was running it like a jig. Like that was the big kind of because I flipped it and stuff and didn't catch anything. Like didn't have any success. But like once I started bouncing it on the bottom and slow crawling it like a jig, it was kind of like a light that goes off. It's like this is actually cool.
So much
because what is it? It's like 6/8 or 5/8 or 3/4 ounce. Let me see.
Oh yeah, they're heavy.
They're heavy. Yeah, people don't realize how heavy they are.
It's scissor fall.
It's a scissor fall, so you get kind of an action like a wacky rig, a weightless stick bait.
It's like a fluke mixed with mixed with that.
Fluke's a good call. Yeah.
I caught a fish in like 20 some feet of water with it, and then
just letting it go.
And on the way back, there's this like milfoil like tower that just came out of the water.
Just these little spots.
I just pumped the brakes, flipped at it. It was like 9 feet down. Boom. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, we got to a point of confidence with that thing last year. It's insane. We did pick up the 2.5s. I've tried them once now.
In the river.
I lost 2 immediately, but one got bit off. And then the other one, it kept getting hit by like bluegill, and they will destroy the Yamatanuki. Like, so it just got trashed. But it
5/8 ounce is what it was too.
5/8 ounce
for the 3.5 inch 5/8. Yeah.
They be heavy. But I do love those. I think it's a great option from any of the options that we're talking about. If you're on the bank, if you're in a kayak, if you're on a boat, doesn't matter. It's a good option. We had a lot of luck with it last year. The big thing was just pitching it in the junk, like go for the pads and like basically fish it like, a frog or a punch bait, even somewhere in between, and just letting it sink between those pads. We were just getting slammed, absolutely destroyed. Had a really fun day, a couple of fun days on those.
So Debo's remained the same, right?
Frog. What's yours?
My drop shot.
I love everybody hates the drop shot, so I was waiting for Debo to fall asleep to that.
Sorry,
dude, I'm the same. I always have a drop shot tied on. Always.
I get it from the boat. From the boat, I completely get it. Dragging it down, people don't understand the difference. Dragging something downhill versus uphill.
100%. Yeah, you get way more hung up. But if you got a steep drop off or a ledge or something, like I'll do that from the bank too. And I have a good time with that. But yeah, on the kayak, I'm like, this is one of my number one confidence baits. Any water I'm on, I'm like, if I just need to catch a fish, I feel very good about throwing a drop shot. So it's probably my number one too, I would say. Let's go to number 2. Debo first.
I'm thinking
frog.
Early season, and these aren't necessarily in the order of like most important. I'm just trying to go through for sure. Early season and late season suspending jerkbait. Like I don't consider myself an amazing jerkbait fisherman, but I consider it pretty good. Proficient. And it's like seems to always be one of those lures that works. Like you can make
the big fish lure. It's the fish lure. A lot of
maybe you guys, but
I think a good if you had my top 50 biggest fish, I think a big chunk of those would be
a lot of them are on the jerkbait, like a 106 to 110 size. So it's like the provoke to the Megabass 110. Just great opposite.
We get deeper, wider basins over old grass, and that's just tailor made when the water's that cold, because we'll get down to the 50s and 40s when we're still in the kayak, and that's the game. You're not catching on anything else.
You're just super slow crawling a finesse jig. Like those two.
But that's hard out in those open basins because the fish are
everywhere. Sure. Yeah, good call.
So you went jerkbait, Paul?
My number 2?
Yeah.
Or
Debo went jerkbait.
It belongs in the top 5. I mean, it belongs in the top 5.
It's somewhere in my top 5. It's not my number 2 though. What's yours?
I want to say lipless because we already talked about it, but that would also be somewhere in there. This one's hard.
All right, think about it. Mine is a chatterbait.
Yeah.
Straight to a chatterbait.
I think you're probably right, though.
If I think of like 2 combos,
too.
Yeah, like 2 combos that are always tied up in my boat. I have a chatterbait on at like almost all the time, and then a drop shot.
I will go. I think that medium size, like 3.25, is probably what I would take. Paddle tail on a jig head. It's just, dude. There's so many days
you can't go wrong.
It's gonna work. It's just gonna work, and it's gonna work well, and it's fun. Honestly, I really enjoy it. Like I find that to be fun fishing.
Or an underspin, like that's fun fishing. Yeah,
it's fun fishing.
Yeah, underspins are a blast. So Debo, what's your 3?
3, I think I'd have to go Texas rig again. Weighted Texas rig, craw or worm, or I mean, those are from early season to late. You can flip and pitch a Texas rig.
Yep.
Jeff, how many times have you fished a Texas rig in the last 2 years?
Okay, why you got to call me out? How many times have you fished a Texas rig in the last 2 years?
Answer.
Like twice.
Do you guys not fish it? Really?
None.
Not much anymore? Really?
No, we really don't.
Too busy throwing drop shots?
Too busy throwing drop shots.
That
you know how much time that takes? You know how much finesse a drop shot takes?
I think
you know how many naps I have to take on my boat?
We talk about this a lot because I don't even get to fish. Like the last time I fished a whopper plopper,
it's been
I don't even know.
Why? Because you don't like them, or do you feel like they don't catch?
No. Love them.
But we used to fish them on the river all the time.
It's it's so fun. Even the piece of garbage taming one we did, it was a ton of fun. But the thing is we ended
that was the last time I fished
so many new things and like pouring time into like doing stuff that's just different. I don't get to do any of the stuff that I like typically wanted. Like it just doesn't happen nearly as much.
That's a really good point, because if I was just regular fishing, not caring, I would definitely be a lot more redundant in the things I throw.
Right.
But I don't want to have 4 videos in a row of me throwing a spinner bait. It's like, I know I could probably go catch them on this, but it's like you have to have things that are changed up in there. It's like nobody wants to see some guy throw a Senko. Like there's so many people have stopped doing YouTube because of like, oh, the places I catch them on, it's the same things. Yeah. And it's like, I just got sick of it. So it's like, it kind of sucks. Oops, where am I? Kind of sucks. Whoop, kind of sucks. But on the other end, it's awesome because like you said, you get to try so many new different things. So
it's a pro and
always,
a con.
I have so what used to be my day box where I'm like, oh, I'm concerned about catching fish and this is what I would pack.
It's transformed.
I just have like all the new stuff I haven't gotten to yet. Then I'm like interested in fishing right now. That's it. And so many, like it's never like I've got 900 jigs from Outcast. I could fish them for the next 6 months straight.
Yep.
All I want to do is fish those jigs. I just want to throw a hair jig, but like I gotta fish.
It's just not the thing.
It wasn't the thing for that day. And you know what it was? A pinky-sized mouse. And we were hammering him. And it just so it just happens a lot less often where it's like,
that's a good trade-off.
Do whatever I want to do.
That's where the fun comes in. So I mean, yeah, it's like somewhat, doing YouTube videos kind of like messes with your tackle and what you're going to throw for the day. And in a good way, the way that affects us in a positive way is like we get to try those new things. So like, how often would you throw a micro mouse on BFS? Friggin' never, ever.
Never.
Never. But then when you did, it was like one of the most fun trips we've done.
Too fun, man. And we tried to get off it. We couldn't do it. Fish wouldn't go on nothing else.
Yeah.
That was wild. I will say too, like just having access to like more stuff than I could ever fish in my lifetime.
Also kind of a benefit.
It's a benefit, but also it's like that box is just constantly turning over of like,
yep.
I mean, it's constant, literally constant.
Every trip
it's 50% of it.
Yep.
Gone.
I gotta pack mine tomorrow.
And then you find something that you love. So we fished the Debo. You've seen these, the the stuff.
Norman cranks,
the crankbaits.
Yeah, which one?
So the craw,
the smaller craw,
6 to 9 foot diver. It's a spring craw, so it's that really
was it spring
with some red, and then the body.
I thought it was the green and orange one we were throwing. That's the Tennessee.
And then it has green on the neck, so it's that spring craw.
I got you,
dude. That thing was getting hammered.
Yeah,
it just blasted. So I fished it this day. It was the unlock for the day. Caught.
Yeah.
Normally in the Midwest, you kind of sift through 1 and 2 pounders to get like to the 2 and 3 pounders.
Normally, I mean, always, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Every day. But we sifted
this. The reason I say that, so it was totally switched. Like, I caught 10 or 15 fish, 20
fish. Yeah.
Only everything was over 3 pounds, except for like literally one fish.
Oh, it was a day. It was a video.
I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah,
it was.
Every fish was over
swinging
3
on giant the whole day.
Wow, you got to figure it out.
I had one that was 4.8 pounds. Like this day was wild. And
there were 2 fish over 4 pounds, and his was almost 5. Like it was a pretty baller day. It was a challenge
on 2 cranks, and one of them was that Norman. So my point was, you find that bait, you're like, dope. Look, I could not have more confidence in this bait.
Yep.
Put it in a box, won't see for 6 years. Was it going to a giveaway? And that's it.
Lunker Hunt Spider.
Damn it.
No, I wouldn't put it on that level. That's pretty rough.
2 days on the Lunker Hunt Spider, and we were like, "That's amazing," and then we like never fished.
I never fished it again. Yeah.
Now it's just a joke for Debo.
It's funny that you say this. Going back to that, and enough of this stupid spider talk. Going back to the crankbait bite, dude, that takes so much anxiety off me. Like when I get on a lure and they're biting it, because it's like, boom, I have a video lasered in. I can catch 10 fish on this or whatever, and I can talk about it at the end. Those are my favorites. I hate the days where it's like 1 fish on this, 2 fish off this, a fish.
Here's what I learned. Yeah. I know. It can still be a video, but it's super frustrating because like all you want to do is go out there and just knock them down.
And it's not easy.
Here's what I did today. I caught one on this. I can't really teach anything because I just threw it randomly and this dumb fish ate it. And then I threw this for a while because I was pissed off. Yeah.
But sometimes the bad days are pretty good. Like, when you kind of figure it out there at the end, but it doesn't always happen. It's frustrating. And not every day, not every day is a banger. I will say we've been I don't want to say lucky. We've been dialed this spring. Like Jeff and I, we've gone out 6 times.
Yeah.
And
every time's like 20 fish.
There's kind of a scale on crack the code. Like when we had it on the crankbaits, that we had the code, right?
Dude,
that was
you had
it.
that dialed.
We had
That's
it
crazy.
dialed. Then there's a lower level where it's like I catch numbers all day, but like maybe not only big fish, but I can always catch a fish if I'm nearby. And then below that is like I caught some fish, and I scared some fish. I was okay, right?
I did a
There's
thing.
kind of that scale.
Yeah.
We've been kind of like one notch below, hammering it every time we've gone out the last handful of times, but that's not normal. Usually you're somewhere in I can catch some fish with this, but it's not perfect too. I cobbled together my
or the
5
trips
bites or
are
whatever
like
it was.
the trips are hit and miss. You have the banger trip, and then like the next trip, everybody gets skunked and you're mad. And yeah, like to that point, doing YouTube videos like this, it makes it tough. It puts a lot of pressure on you, I find, is the biggest thing. So we had to make like our number one rule: just have fun. And if you're not having fun, have a snack. And if you're not having fun after that, have an energy drink. And then if you're not having fun after that, go home.
It can't be fixed. There's no way to resolve this.
It can't be resolved by food and
Today
energy.
Is not the day.
It's not the day, man. Or just throw like the most bonker thing you have in your tackle box because nothing's working anyways. And sometimes those turn into awesome.
Once you turn it around, but it does get really challenging. And I'd like to think like, oh, every time I go out, I catch 20 fish. I do not.
No,
I do not. I repeat, I do not. Some days, fuck no. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Or what are we on? Number 3 bait? We went on a tangent there.
Yeah.
That was off the rails.
My next one, I would definitely say crankbait. And that's one that I just wouldn't recommend for a bank angler in general. But not having a crankbait is gonna bug me. I'm struggling without having that. The crankbait for me personally is like, if I'm having a difficult time, it's one of like the 3 to 4 things I can go to. I'm like, I'll catch a fish. Gonna happen. I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'll say my number 3 will be an underspin, only because you already did the swim bait on a jig, which is like obviously great too. It's like sometimes they want that blade, that flash, sometimes they don't. But an underspin, I feel like I always have such a good time. I had a day just last time we went out. We were testing out the Titan X. I was throwing the Great Lakes Finesse sneaky underspin, and I had a freaking day.
It's
probably
money.
Like 25, 30 fish on that.
And that head, the way they have the head design, how small and how dense it is, it's crazy how much it pulls. And it's fast.
Yeah.
The retrieve is like, boom, it reacts instantly. I think that's what helps it spin as well as it does, even because I just think that little micro head, it gets it moving, man.
And I mean, I love using the downsized ones too, and just throwing like a very short, like maybe a 2-inch plastic straight tail. Yeah. The thing is awesome. But yeah, underspins. So what are we on 4? It's your number 4.
Well, Debo gets 4. Debo gets 1.
I give mine. Yeah, Texas rig was my 3rd.
Oh, okay. Then 4.
4.
Thanks, Paul.
I've been thinking.
Thanks for your contribution.
I think this is where spinnerbait would come in, because from a boat I can kind of pick and choose. I'm not as forced to, I have 5 spots to fish from here, and that's all slopped up. Like most of the spots, once you get out a little bit or you can pick those spots, spinnerbait.
Mine's still a chatterbait. I don't think there's anything else that's more kayak specific except for a Ned rig that I would even put on this list. But because the drop shot I wouldn't recommend for, obviously that didn't for a bank angler nearly as much as some other stuff. Even though it can work in a lot of situations. If there's more than 6 inches of grass, you're not doing it. And if there's trees, you're gonna get hung up. You're not doing that. You're throwing a jig every time. So yeah.
You gotta, if your bank drop shot is, you gotta flip it.
It's really
hold the weight, flip it out there.
It's hard, man. It's really hard.
It definitely takes some work. I would say my number 4, this is where the jerk bait comes in for me. Like it's another one of those combos always tied on, and I'm gonna fish it like every time I'm on the water. Usually a 4 to 6 foot diver suspending be like the go-to.
Debo?
5?
5, yeah, I think 5 would probably have to be a 6 foot diving crankbait for the spots we have around here. And I mean, it's really hard to beat just like a 6 foot if I could only pick one specifically. But yeah, I would say like a little 6 foot diver.
I agree. 6 to 9 foot is my kind of my go-to, especially if you abrade, it gets you up a little bit. But then if you go straight fluoro, you can dig that into the 4 and 5 foot range, just hammer it on the bottom, which is That's how we were getting them fired up. That's how we started the day. So I did.
With that day it was
dude.
Crank it
I was
down
running
up
it.
shallow, and
I was going shallow, just grinding
Yep.
it down, and that was like getting pounded.
That's what they wanted, man.
Yeah. Mine should be like top water is like probably what it
was-
should be, but lipless, dude. Like
Lipless, there it
lipless
is.
just any depth. You can just get dialed on any depth, and that includes like the 1 foot range. You can burn those through, and they'll still get bit,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
in that short water. So, man, that's another one that like I never get to fish, but it like again in the big range of like how many fish have I caught? There's quite a few nice freaking fish I caught on a lipless.
Yeah. I would say if I'm gonna throw a fifth, there's so many like tied for fifth for me that I'm probably grabbing. Like I think glide bait, I think topwater walk in, I think buzz bait.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna say glide right now, actually. Be like, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm forcing myself to do it. But I feel an undue amount of confidence with it, especially with triggering a bigger fish. So I always have my swim bait set up. Like always with me. I didn't used to bring it every time, but
I always bring it and never throw it.
That's the thing. Is like I'm grabbing it on purpose. Like and it could be a glide bait or it could be a big swim bait.
We had a lull. We flipped ourselves around, went out to a little deeper, big hunk of grass, and we both threw a big swim. I had a big glide. He had a big swim bait.
Yep.
I had a fish take it and pull at it, and then I didn't get anything on the hook set. And then Jeff had a follow, and then my next cast, I had a fish right at the boat, just slash at it.
And they were good looking fish too. Like
they were, and I was like, "Whoa, what?" Then we beat the hell out of the water and scared them all away. But you know,
it was a super windy day. It was cold. Like it wasn't.
It's one of those things, and especially with forward-facing sonar, when you can watch them live, you don't realize the number of follows you're getting with those glides.
And you're like, the amount of stuff you can learn from that. I don't understand the hate with it. Like,
it's so
I guess tournament versus just normal, but from the little amount that I've seen, you nailed it, Paul. Like the amount of fish that you can see and learn from,
especially with gliding, because like it's crucial, real time, and you can see how long with a long pause, like 3 or 4 cranks and then a pause versus you twitching versus your kind of standard half spin, and you can see, are they running from it while it's sinking? Like there's so much stuff you can see and be like, well, this one's just this. I just need something that's not as fast.
Just change it this way. Just try something different. I would have never learned to catch on a glide bait without live scope.
No.
I'll put it out there. And I mean, maybe that makes me a horrible fishing.
Yeah, I mean, you're not good at it, and cheater, you need cheat codes, so that sucks.
Yeah, you know what? Like,
but if you're not in a tournament, then I don't think people care, really, do they? Or do they even hate it if you're not a tournament?
They'll tell you that it's ruining the fishery, which I've never seen any data to support that.
I just need the data for it.
I've never.
I asked for the data. I'm waiting.
I'm never going to get it because it's not real. And then some people will tell you, looks like elitist fishing, right?
Which I kind of get. It's frustrating. It's expensive, and if it's not in the budget, I get it.
That's always been frustrated. Fishing has always been a rich man's
$60,000 bass boat is not in my budget.
Fishing has always been a rich man's game,
and I'm jealous of them.
or sponsored. And I guess I should backstep that. That's kind of pompous of me to say. It's not necessarily a rich man's game, but you've got to sacrifice everything and have priorities if you're going to get in the tournament game. You've
to that level where you.
It's your life, man. You got to go all in and have the talent, and then you can acquire sponsors, and then you can have the 150,000.
Right. It's the same way with MMA. Like looking at the guys coming up from MMA. I mean, dudes sleeping in a little tiny 1-room apartment, eating chicken and rice every night because that's what they want. They bleed it and eat. That's. But so I guess I don't know enough of the electronic stuff. Does a regular like downside image? Is that the same type of rays or things that are popping out from a live scope?
It's just the speed and then the density of that reading that you get back. So
it's real time versus 5 seconds ago.
It's so much faster.
So if it's the same thing, then wouldn't we have already been ruining fisheries with the electronics that we're using?
Exactly.
Well, that's an argument we've talked about, but
on your flasher.
I don't know enough of it, so. But
it's the same speed as your flasher for ice.
There are some folks who say like
it's a sonar of.
Yeah, it's a form of sonar, but some people will say, in professional fishing, they should have nothing, like just literally.
I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be fun. Like MLF.
I think it could be.
Hold on. No, the problem is the big problem is bag sizes are cut by 60%, 70%.
I feel better
And
about
most
myself.
people not hitting
Love
bags,
it.
but that's what most people are
Do we
dialing
want
in
more big
to
fish?
watch giant
less?
bass get caught.
Yeah.
And when giant bass
I
not
think
getting caught in the Bassmaster Classic, people tend to this not going to work.
that's a whole different discussion.
I would
ahead.
love a
Hit me
one-off.
with it.
I would love a one-off tournament that's like no.
I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. I'm saying why it wouldn't happen.
I don't think it's fish size. I don't think fish size is the problem of professional fishing.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's watchability, and having the ability to choose who you want. I don't want them to choose the 5-10 people that they're showing boats. If they could have a way of you could show the person all the time,
Totally.
like I could go log in and be
Select
like,
your
I want to
guy.
watch
follow your dude. Yeah.
Bob. And it shows Bob and his live scope thing up there for everybody, like so I can see his screen too.
That'd be sick. You could learn.
That'd be awesome. You could watch with him.
Honestly, it's the announcer. Like golf, for most people, should be unwatchable. But the announcing, they make it work, man. No, but like that should be unwatchable. That's very similar. Where like a layman coming in and be like, "This is horrible." Somebody who's into golf, they're glued. Fishing, I think it's the same thing. Layman comes in, I don't get it. Stanka, who? What are we talking about? A fisherman comes in. If you get engaged by the announcer and then now you're watching the dude fish again with like the screen, like you said, I'm hooked.
It's tough because you can't see what they're doing. You know, when you just have a camera in the back of the boat, you don't know unless that person, like you said, that's a really good point, unless they engage you and they're talking the whole time. But if you're just watching a guy stand up there not talking to you, not doing anything, it's like
Jordan Lee was
I didn't watch it before
himself, and we didn't even know that was happening because where was the camera? It's on the back of the boat. He's off the front of the boat doing what he does.
Yeah, I didn't really watch professional fishing before, and I don't watch it now.
No,
that life
I don't care.
issue.
I agree.
So.
But like, what makes the NFL so good? Everybody knows what's going on. They explain nuance during it, and it's really the announcing, and then they crack the code on cameras, right? So they're way up in your face.
Or the X Games, and you're like, "What was that trick?" And they like know every single trick, and you're like, "What?"
But like, fishing announcing is like, I don't know who they think they're talking to or what their purpose is, but like,
not us.
No, you gotta be 80% color commentary, frankly.
Yeah,
you're filling.
Yeah, it's got to be fun. It has to be entertaining to watch. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
dude,
I would love to see an improvement on that front. You know what else I would love to see? A little shout out to Crane Fishing for joining our memberships. Became a shark deucer. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Welcome to the land of the giveaway.
We picked our next one, right? Our next members only live.
The 19th.
Totally. That sounds right. June 18th. June 18th. That's the next one. Pretty close. So yeah, I mean, you just join us on that event. That'll be a blast. We'll do a giveaway on it.
All right, top 5 combos for bank fishing.
Ooh. I mean,
you gotta have one either heavy or medium heavy 7-foot baitcaster.
7-foot medium heavy baitcaster. What was going to be my first? Like, you just can't go wrong.
You gotta have one.
You can do everything
heavy, fast.
Yeah.
I'd take the mod fast, but fast for sure.
Well, and it also comes down to how many combos you bring in. So let's say,
I was gonna say, if we got 5, we can pretty much cover everything.
You can cover everything.
Let's do 3.
3?
Yes.
Okay. Second,
I would say for a bank fisherman, it could be number 3, but an ultralight.
I was gonna throw it in the mix. BFS or ultralight.
I knew somebody was gonna say BFS. Out of you two nerds. Oh, you gotta have a BFS. That's so fun.
Didn't you just get a BFS set up? That's what.
Yeah, I did.
Which one did you get?
Don't worry about it. Don't grill.
Are you bringing it?
I'm worried.
Don't both you grill me at the same time about.
Are you bringing it?
I'll need you guys to give me a reel. I got the. I was over at American Legacy. They had a Tatula 100 for $90 that was mint or extra good or whatever. So I was like, yes, I want that. And I was looking through rods, and they had the St. Croix Mojo Trigon.
Yeah,
the light or little crankbait or something one.
Yep. Paul's
it's
got that
super
one.
whippy. Yeah, it's. What do you think of it? You like it?
Oh yeah, because the thing the leverage on that rod, you can actually cast a decent range. The whippiness lets you throw the lighter stuff, but it's got backbone, and you can get a little heavier.
Yep.
It sucks with single hook baits Everything else, it's incredible. And
That's
single,
what I got
it's
it for.
okay.
I was thinking small cranks, little jerks.
Small cranks are good.
Chatterbaits, like this one right here.
Flashback mini or the pig jigs. Yeah.
Yeah. Super fun.
Do you have any of the other Trigons besides that one?
No.
Are the handles
the
bigger?
Trigon is worthless.
Dude, I think I'm definitely in the minority. I think, dude, when you look at your hand when you do this, in hand, I think it feels really good.
We never
you don't
use
even
that
touch
part of
their grip.
Yeah.
80% of the time you're holding a rod.
What? It fits right here.
It's barely a quarter of your actual grip. Like the rest of it,
I thought it felt
there's
good.
no contact.
I thought it felt good. There's people saying it's like unholdable because it's super uncomfortable.
No, I don't think that.
No, it's comfortable, but it's not.
The grip.
I wouldn't say it's a game changer, but I guess most of the people I've heard were saying it was so bad that I was like, "Is it really?"
No,
it's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. No, it's comfortable. It's
just a marketing
more
gimmick
or less comfortable than any other.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah.
It's no other, but I guess I was trying to overcome the people saying it was awful, and I was like,
they're out of their mind.
Actually, you hold your hand like this, and it is a triangle. I mean, look right there. That's the Trigon.
Yeah.
I catch more fish when I hold that Trigon rod. I'll tell you that.
Especially,
I haven't even used it yet. So
paid sponsorship.
Paid sponsorship. St. Croix
paid for by St. Croix.
$10,000.
My nickel.
No, they want nothing to do with an idiot like me.
All right, so top 3 combos. I got 7-foot medium heavy caster. I've got a 7-foot medium light spinning, and then I've got either the ultralight or the BFS. Like if I had those 3, I will have a day.
Mine was going to say medium light, and mine would be a little longer. It's like 7.4, 7.3.
Sure. I'm on the bank. It doesn't make as much a difference to me.
Yeah,
just go with a 7.
I'd go with a 7-foot medium spinning, and then probably like a 7.2-ish again. 7.2 is like my favorite. 7.2 heavy would be my third.
Ooh.
So I could throw buzz baits, chatterbaits, frogs.
It's really good. Yeah. That's why
and mod fast heavy, like you were saying, Paul. So then it's good for all my moving baits, frogs, all
get
that.
It all.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially shorter, you get away with murder with those single hook baits on the mod fast. When they get a little longer, it can be better, but only if you're in an open space, because then you just get the extra length to really lay into one. But the 7.3, you can do that's a lot of rod, actually.
You do a lot.
All right. Top 5 accessories, things you must have for bank fishing. What for me, it's
pants.
Backpack. No, overrated. Is that an accessory?
Overrated. Ooh. Never mind. I can't go on this trip with you guys.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Pantsless trip.
Crocs, old pantsless Paul and just his Crocs. Hey, Debo, got my Crocs on. What do you think of the color?
That's 40 years from now. That is Paul.
Factual.
It's pantsless Paul again. Kick him out of the bar. What is he doing here?
This is a hospital, sir.
This is the place, sir. This is a Wendy's. You can't bring that in here,
sir.
Available in the shop below.
Yeah, if you want the sticker. I think I put it right here.
I still got to put that sticker on my boat. It's going on the other side of the front. I can't see it. You're off. You got to turn your camera or something.
I don't know. It's a little low. Too low. It's right there.
Wait. I got you, dog. Can anybody see it? No, your name tag's covering it.
Stupid mother.
It's a terrible sticker, apparently. Censored. All right. So top 5 accessories going to the bank. You said
it's got to be a backpack. Or sling pack, whatever it is that you prefer. I like the backpack, but
so are we saying like hat? I mean, we have a hat, right?
No, you got all the general stuff.
Sunglasses.
Okay, all that's okay.
Yep.
I would say a good pair of pliers with cutters, braid cutter capable pliers would be number 1 for me.
Good point. All right. He wins that round. Round 2.
It's
really like the best option because you could just have whatever's tied onto the rod. And then you just need pliers. Number 2 would be pliers for me.
I think
it's hard to find pliers I don't hate though. Need the pliers.
Yeah, pliers are actually tricky.
I hate so many pliers.
I agree, and they do need to be like I want a medium size because little fish too sometimes.
Yeah, or that pike that you happen across, and you're like,
well, yeah.
If you don't have pliers, you're like,
want
this is my
heavy
nightmare.
duty, but I go medium duty because I want to be able to handle the like smaller hooks and stuff.
Yep. Debo, number 2.
Number 2, I think I'd have to say my scale, because the one time I don't take my scale, I'm going to catch a 57-pound bass state world record and can't prove it. So
Yep.
Man, I used to like always have my scale, and I just got to a point where I'm like, I just don't care. Like I don't even bring my catch board like anymore, like at all. I mean, I love catching big fish. I would love to document it, but yeah,
like that's my thing is I love trying to guess. Like in my head, it weighs this much, and then I like to weigh it because that's one of the parts I like about MLF is like trying to guess their fish size. I know that sounds stupid, but like, oh, I was within 2 ounces.
You added the most entertainment.
I know that 1 pound, 1 ounce fish. I can tell that.
Yeah. That, dude, if we want to enhance the announcements, dude, it's just let's have that as a little game going on during it.
Yeah. If you're
the announcer calls it
ounces, you don't have to drink. If you're outside of that, you have to take a drink.
Text this number, the weight, first one to guess wins like $500. MLF, we got you. We can help out.
It just seems really weird. I don't know why they can't figure that out.
All right. So do we do number 2 for everybody? Are we on 3?
Yes.
Okay. Number 3.
Mine's gonna be like, I know we kind of said this but this is kind of important. The right pair of shoes.
Yeah. The right pair of shoes.
Like if it's gonna be a wet day, I want to have shoes where I can like dry off, but I want to like have my feet covered. If it's high grass, like I want my boots. Like I want big, I want the tall boots or whatever. Like because sometimes you go out and you still know, and it sucks not having the right footwear when you're bank fishing. I think it's frustrating as shit.
I'm gonna go with snacks. That'd be my number 3.
Snacks. Yeah, my number 3 is my knife.
Knife is a good one too. Knife's a good one. I feel like
always got a knife.
There's so many times I'll be out on the water and I just like never.
Is that a Kershaw?
No, Benchmade.
Oh, you got the bug out? Kershaw. That's a really nice knife.
No, this is not the bug out. This is the Osborne Mini, I believe.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. I got it. It was a buy one, get one half off, and I felt a little ritzy, so I got this one.
So I bought one's basically free.
No, I bought 2.
But by more, it gets even better.
They're really nice knives though.
Benchmade's my favorite. Kershaw is my close second favorite. But yeah, since finding Benchmades, I love them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My four would be boots. Knee boots.
Boots is always a good play for the bank. Like you almost can't go wrong until it's like the dead of summer and then like your legs sweat to pieces.
Still rocking knee boots. Don't care.
Still rocking the knee boots. All right. That's when I'll brave the elements a little bit more in the summer. It's like I'm not putting up with the leg sweat.
Same.
But yeah, I guess number 4, since we're calling out footwear, I would have to say the correct footwear as well.
Yeah.
Sunscreen. Probably boots. Is that your number 4?
Yeah, dude.
That's a good call. Like I mean,
sorry, Rob, but
you could suit up only so much, and eventually Mr. Sun's gonna get you.
Me? Yeah.
Well, you especially. I forget it often. I play this game. Do you guys play this game where like you get on the water, you forgot to put on sunscreen, and you're like, well, after I catch my first fish, I'll put on sunscreen. And then like how burned you are is how bad you were at fishing. It's my favorite game. That's how I know how the day went. So we're at 5?
Yeah.
Number 5, Debo.
I don't know. I'm thinking.
I'll go sunscreen now because I have to. It's the law. Notice water wasn't on any of our lists so far.
I was just going to say, yeah, probably drinks would be number 5. I would rather have drinks over food. Because like my scary thing is, depending on where it's at, if I bring too much food and I have to poo, like that's always a. But drinks,
when they sneak up on you, man.
When Jeff and I like first started fishing, I wasn't bringing water or Gatorade really.
Like never.
And then we would like forgot have to beers, consume, right? Because that's fun. And then, dude, I would get so dehydrated. Like at one point, I had to like drive myself home. I was throwing up like every.
You had a heat stroke.
Yeah, at 100%. And I had to like get in my air conditioning and like pound Gatorade for like 2 hours.
Yeah, we were supposed to fish all day, and like 3 hours in, Paul's like, "I'm literally deceased." Yeah. And then I was like, "I don't believe you," because we were on the phone.
Like
I came over to find him, and he's like in the water, submerged, just like basically dead. Yeah, you got to go home. He was puking.
It was terrible. And then one time I was walking my dog after fishing, and Haley's all, frustrated. but we're trying to make it the best of it because we got our kids,
Where are your brownie points?
So we're walking home, and I'm like I could feel that like something's off with my body, but I didn't know what it was. I was like within 200 yards of my house and yacked all over my neighbor's easement. And I was just so dehydrated. The old days, man. Now
bad deal.
Gatorades.
We don't play that game.
Double water sometimes with a what liquid IV in there.
Yeah. All right. Is that 5? I think we hit 5.
Yeah,
I would say scale.
I will say Julie did call out off or bug spray, and that can completely ruin a day when you forget that.
Especially for the bank.
Yeah, there's been days where I've left. Like mosquitoes were so bad where I'm like, I don't even care if there's 35-pound fish in here. I'm out. This is awful.
Yeah. I don't think about it as much on the kayak, like at all. I don't even bring it. I never have. But yeah, on the bank, it's a totally different ball game for sure. Bust out that DEET, get it done.
Yeah, I want my skin to burn that I've got enough on. And it's like, yes, it burns. This has to be good for me.
I hear a sizzle.
Bugs won't eat me now. Good.
Fully covered in chemical burns, but did I get bit by a mosquito?
One face.
Yes.
Oh my God. All right. So I think we covered the bank, did we not?
Oh yeah.
Dude, we were like late in the show. Where are we going with kayaks?
Yeah, you're an hour and a half. I just looked at that a little bit ago. I was like, damn.
We're like a quarter of the way.
We're doing a 24-hour live stream here.
No. I mean, would you guys hang out for 24 hours?
I would, sure. Why not?
Paul would hang up. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I think we should go live while we're at the Airbnb.
I was going to ask you guys that if we're going to we could do a Saturday Night Live on Debo's, all of us.
Let's do it.
On my live. Why did I just refer to myself as Debo's somebody was asking me if we were going to do multiple lives, and I was like, I don't know if they're going to. I'm like, we could do one on mine. Anyway.
I would just go from my phone. I'm not bringing any equipment, but
go
live from the phone. Yeah. I'd be down. Let's both go live at the same time.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm down for whatever.
The only thing
Friday I like about Saturday. That is that'd be better. Like I hate when there's 2 different lives when people dual stream, because then you can't see all the comments and stuff. I
agree.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys think this is a good idea, chat? Should we go live on Friday and Saturday? We'll just be hanging out at night, kind of like prepping for the next day. If you guys want to hang out, we could do that. That could be fun. Yeah. All right. Anyways, kayak stuff, or are we like good?
It's be good. The only thing I would add I'm adding net
to the kayak. Yeah.
To the kayak, I'm adding net 100%. And then toolkit 100%.
Yeah, I think that's so. Debo, you got a toolkit now in your kayak?
I don't have a necessary kit, but I have hopefully everything that I would need. Yeah, to
got your screwdriver, your wrench, your Allen keys.
Everything to take apart
some goop. Never a bad idea.
Yeah, the stuff I got was in a funny turn of events. I purchased a Burley keel guard. And got it. And I'm like, hey, this doesn't work. What? And I'm like reading the stuff, and it's like, oh, only for 2022 or newer. And I'm like, mine's a 2020.
No.
So apparently they changed the angle of the little lippy front thing. So I put it on, and I'm like, you could tell like this much of it's hollow where it's only touching. I'm like, I'll try gluing it on. I got it to the ramp with my buddy Steven and had the wheels and was getting down to the water and pulled it down and like set it down on the thing, and it goes
cracked.
It just fell off after I
popped off.
Yeah, and I was like,
you gotta soak it in marine goop, man.
It was only like this much of the top of it.
Idea. You actually just could fill the whole nose with epoxy and then shove it up wet.
That's what I'm saying.
And then put the goop on and then duct tape it.
Oh, epoxy for the first one.
Because it would harden up. It would be plastic all through and through.
I was just gonna give it away and I was gonna make one. Wendell I was on his, and I know he's got one, or like a video on how to make it. I'm like,
yep,
I should probably do that. So if anybody has a new Slayer Max 12.5, you need a Burley keel guard, I'll send it to you for free.
Fair enough. There you guys go. Yeah, they don't. So I just got the Titan X. They don't make anything for the Titan X. There's like nothing.
Really?
Out there. Yeah, like nothing.
That's odd.
Yeah, it's kind of bonkers because I mean the industry's known about it for over a year or almost a year now. last I cast.
There's nothing really that unique about it though, but like there's a lack of
things are set up differently. So like for consoles, for example, if you want a console, you can only get a certain specific few that have like a full track or a adjustable enough track, because where the console has to go is on a narrow track setting. So it's like that makes it tough. The other big thing is like you kind of have to get the sidekick wheels. The sidekick wheels have been sold out for months now. Like they're supposed to be back in stock on the 20th. So in like 5 days, I'm going to order mine. So I won't have wheels when we go. We're going to partner carry. Well, I have my cheap Amazon wheels, but they kind of suck for that kind of kayak. Yeah. And then I was looking for the keel guard and like nobody has them. So I watched Wendell's video and I was like, well, I could do that. I really don't want to, because it's a process. It's a process. But it was a great video. I think Wendell's got a lot of good stuff like that. And then I looked on Burley. Burley doesn't make one. I'm like, dude, what the heck? So I was going to get keel tape, but that stuff sucks and I don't want to deal with it.
I used it on my canoe. It's really tough, but I have a heat gun and actually it would probably work.
You have to for that. Yeah. And it's also way more expensive than the keel guard from Burley.
$60.
Yeah. If you get like the Gator keel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad stuff, but it's a pain in the butt to use and it's expensive. It's not cheap.
The gun, it's really easy though.
The gun is an absolute necessity, and I don't have one. So if I have to do that, yeah, I'll borrow yours. We'll do it.
You can always fill yours with epoxy though. So if you scrape it up after like 2 years and you're like, that doesn't look good, you can just epoxy it and sand it.
I'm kind of not worried about it. Also, like whatever plastic they use on Titan X is super dense. It's insanely dense. Like drilling a hole in that thing, which I have done. There's one hole in this kayak so far. And it's just for the foot pedal release for the XI3. That's it. There's no other holes in this. Everything is like in the drop-in bucket that's replaceable, or the Bonafide Native has those Power Link panels. So everything's in those. All replaceable. Don't want to put holes in my boat if I don't have to. But I did put one.
I have 2 in mine.
There's also a hole in my XI3 now.
3 in mine.
Because you're supposed to.
4 in mine.
There's about to be 7, 8, 9, 10.
A little bit. I had 2 for the electronics.
Yeah.
A 3 for the electronics, and then 1.5 for the motor.
Yeah, I can't wait to show you guys the build this weekend. There's a lot going on. My drop-in bucket has like 5 electrical ports inside of it. Jeez. It's bonkers. So yeah, anyway, so we got like, if you're in the kayak, important.
I'm adding net for sure.
PFD is number 1. Do we have to count that as accessory?
No, that's given. Yeah, that's
okay,
given.
Good. I just want to point it out, you guys. PFDs better have one.
But the list is kind of the same. Footwear is a little easier on a kayak.
Crate.
So that might be the difference, but net is a big one.
Yeah.
Oh no, empty bottle.
Empty bottle, net, crate.
Yeah,
empty bottle for what? Lures?
For where you urinate.
Liquid lure?
Where you relieve yourself of your monsters and Gatorades, you know. Although the Slayer propel drive is so open.
That's what I do. I'm just sitting there and I just open the propel drive and I'm just like,
that's what I do.
Is that bad?
Like, no, I do it too. Like that's kind of my go-to now. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't pee in the water because that's probably illegal and stuff. So I mean,
who does that?
Never do that.
Nobody claimed that.
I pee into the cup thing and then use my.
You bring like 5 bottles and just fill them.
Like just stacking them up. 5 paper cups full of piss on your boat.
The gunnel just has like 5 bottles.
They're like, open your bin, open your crate.
You got me.
That up. Tell me what's
in there.
Piss. That's all I got.
Those in season? No, they're not. Sorry, sir.
All right, let's go to Slow Rolling Thunder. I think we've beat this one to death. All right. What do we think about relaunches of like very popular either epics or single or like multiple movie series? So for example, Lord of the Rings is about to have a new version released. Is this a good thing or is this going to be a bad thing?
It's just the extended stuff, right? Isn't that all?
No, there's going to be
there's in theaters
retelling. Is it?
I think it's a little bit.
Are you talking about the ones coming to theaters?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just all the extended cut stuff.
Oh no.
Peter Jackson's making new.
We're getting new
films.
movies.
But is it going to be like Star Wars Rogue One, like off stories or things that they haven't covered in the previous movies, or is it a complete retelling?
Oh, the new there is a new movie. I think those are cool. So Rogue One of the best Star Wars movies.
So that's what I was about to say. Is
if it's like a universe,
a new story, like if they go off some of the like telling certain battles or parts, I think those are really cool. Yeah,
it's going to be. Oh man, I'm gonna have to set my expectations appropriately, not for good or bad. I don't want them to say anything about the old movies.
You don't want them to remake the old movies. Like they were going to do this with Harry Potter on HBO. It's still like yet to be done, but they were going to basically do 10 seasons, like one for each. Well, I guess 7 seasons, one for like each year or each book. And I'm like, I don't want that. I already had it. Do something new.
Great.
But that's why like what Star Wars was doing is they got like Ahsoka, Andor, Rogue One, like, and they're all like Mandalorian. They're like all just universe based.
I'm okay with that.
Those are great
because it can suck or be great on its own.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't ruin the.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the original.
I'm nervous
nostalgia.
about this Lord of the Rings. I'm nervous. Man.
They're gonna break your nostalgia, man. That's what you're mad. Like,
it's not that. It's just it has to be the same. Like, you're making a big statement. You're like, oh, I can do this with the new CGI and whatnot technology better or as good as the old one.
Right.
Did you not like The Hobbit? I mean, they already did it with The Hobbit.
It's horrible.
What? Yeah. Hobbit wasn't horrible.
No, Hobbit wasn't bad, but the ones like Desolation of Smaug and all that, like, not good.
Yeah, I thought those were good. I like those. Maybe I'm too big of a nerd.
I did not. I'm a giant nerd.
I'm a better nerd than you.
No, I'm a big nerd too, but I did not like them at all.
Maybe I'm an easy nerd.
Yeah, it was too jokey. They made it like cartoony almost, and I was like, I don't know. There's a comedy in Lord of the Rings. Not that there's not, but like it had its place, and it wasn't like that. I don't know.
Wasn't serious enough for Paul.
I guess I'm an easy Lord of the Rings nerd.
Debo,
I just yearn for more Lord of the Rings. Okay, I tell you what they did do and kind of ruins the Lord of the Rings.
I don't know. Get them up.
The new one, the Amazon one.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, talk about rough.
See, yeah, I would agree.
With the power of the ring. I don't even remember what it was called, but
that was tough, man. Yeah, that was tough. It wasn't even that like super entertaining. The thing that gets me sometimes is like the like manufactured twists. It's almost like someone didn't write them. They had like think some up, and so they put them in with that Lord of the Rings. Like it was like, wait, where did this come from? Like, was this even? Is it totally relevant? I don't know. Maybe later, possibly. The other ones, everything was like everything was laid out. Like it was happening. That was happening. I don't know.
So here's an example that came out of last weekend. My girls liked Mean Girls, the original, like 2003, whatever.
We all did.
They remade that because it's been on Broadway. They did a musical version. It's a play-by-play. It's like the same exact movie if everything was a song. Like the same exact thing. So I was like, it's kind of like, why are we doing the same thing over again?
This?
I don't know. It was fun though. It's a fun movie.
I'd say it's like 7 times out of 10, not a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. We got three fathers on the show. Have you, Jeff, have you gone to Disney?
Yeah.
As a father. Debo?
No, and won't.
Also,
did you go as a child? Did you go as a child?
And
Jeff,
did you go as a child?
No. I went as a child, like once, twice.
I never went.
No.
We were po folks. We didn't have that kind of cash.
We were kind of poor, but I also did not want to do that.
Fair enough.
I don't want to do it now.
I hate going to
as a child. And I think that like what we had when we were kids was Disney was like a fun amusement park. What kids now have to look forward to, or families now have to look forward to, is like a shitty shell of an amusement park where you just wait for hours for rides and you spend a bunch of money to do it. And I'm like, bro, I could go on a like Dominican vacation for a week for the same price as 3 days in Disney.
What's even more fun than those small town? I shouldn't even say small town, but like fairs.
Sure.
Like
you get the ride.
Rodeo.
You get food. Yeah. Like I just think you can take that money and do so many more cool things with that same amount than
you could have a whole summer.
Yeah.
Like once a month, go on like a cool
Constant
vacation for a
trips.
weekend.
Yeah.
Up for the like easily.
Yeah. So we just went to Universal this year with the kids. And it was the same thing. We went on President's Day, which was a horrible idea. Nobody ever do that. I didn't know it was that day because I didn't care. But like then that day came and it was like
calendar.
It's
didn't check it.
It's a holiday. So anyway, so you already got your tickets. It's over, man. So anyways, by the time I realized it was too late, so we're there. It was like one of the busiest park days I've ever seen. People are just running each other over. And it reminded me, I freaking hate this. So like if we ever go, it's like once every 5 years. But I'm always like, let's just not. And typically we'll just go to like Universal City Walk where you get like half of the problem and you can just hang out and eat food and have drinks and have a better time. But yeah, like the ride, if you go full day Universal, you really have to go like 3 or 4 days, because if you go one day, you're going to get 8 rides. 8. That's a full day. That's hours and hours of time. That's what we hit. We hit 8 rides.
That makes me want to vomit.
Yeah. So you got to pick the best ones, and like you'll go up to a line. Like, so they have Universal Florida, they have Hagrid's motorcycle ride, and it's like one of the most popular rides there. So you go up to that and you look at the wait, and the wait's like 210 minutes, and you're like, oh, the park will be closed by the time I can get on this ride. And you have to wait there, man. You just sit there forever. So, and I'll also say, so my youngest has autism. So with if you have an autistic child, you can get a special pass. So I had the special pass and we still only did 8 rides. That's like cutting people. Like I take her with me. I'm like, we're getting you on a ride in 3 hours. It takes forever, dude. It's the worst. So yeah, it's not worth it, in my opinion.
Hard pass.
Hard
Last one.
pass.
All right. What is something that you wish you were good at, but that you are decidedly not good at?
I'm glad you read that question, because I'm looking at question number 3 on your list.
Coming up next.
I'm having some real problems with your grammar.
Numbers too high.
Choice of words, lack of certain letters.
That's accurate.
Let's just say you guys.
Lore.
Question number 3 says bass eating season is upon us, but it doesn't have a B. I'm like, Paul, what are we talking about?
Leave it to him. that funny guy.
Just looking for some snacks.
Bass eating season minus the B.
Something I wish I was good at that I'm not. I would say like it's not necessarily one thing, but the amount of handiness that my old man has, like, oh, we need to change the sink. Oh, I can plumb. Oh, I
just know how to do that.
Build a deck. Oh, I can build a house. And
I did that in 85.
Yeah, no sided a whole house. And like all that would be good. And I kind of blew my shot at learning a lot of that because he tried, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm just trying to hold. Yeah, and I'm not even doing that.
Shaking the flashlight, and I've already been slapped.
Yeah. You've already.
I said Phillips head. It's the plus sign, you idiot.
Yeah, I don't know what a Phillips is. I don't even know what wrench you're talking about. Here's some scissors. Make that.
You brought me.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be me. Or car stuff, because like I'm not a car guy. Like I like cars and stuff, but I am like when something goes wrong, it's like I can change the oil, and I don't even do that anymore. It's like
go
to the shop. Do any of that.
I can build. I think I'm pretty confidently almost anything, and it give enough time and the right tools. And handiness, like I feel like I can do almost anything. I'm not a motor guy. I don't have that gene. Yeah. I'm not built for it. Yeah. I don't care. It's cool. I don't give a shit. I care about like buying
you have to have the space. You have to have the tools. You have to have a place to keep it apart. Because like
I just don't even understand it really. Like it just doesn't. Not in the same way as like somebody building something. Like when I look at a table, I'm like, I see how you did that. Like, and I feel confident I can do a tile job. Nah, I could do that corner, whatever. Like all that kind of like sheetrock, electrical, like all of it. I'm like, nah, and I kind of care. Motors, I'm like, dope. Don't care.
Yeah. But it would be such a helpful skill because of how much you 100%. Have to pay for service on your car.
That would be on my list. The one thing I will say, I wish I was bilingual. So I wish
That's a good
and
one.
a lot of it's time, effort, energy, but I just wish that was something that I had
Spanish,
that that I can't do. Yeah, Spanish, 100%.
Most useful.
Like fluent Spanish would be so helpful.
I want it for myself so badly.
Yeah. It just takes so much work that I don't want to put into it.
Too late, bro.
What's the thing called?
Babbel.
Yeah, get on Babbel or whatever. Isn't there a new one that only
Duolingo?
Should.
Yeah.
Should.
30 minutes a day, Paul.
When? I don't have 30 minutes to do anything.
What was the old one? Rosetta Stone? You would get like a CD-ROM.
Rosetta. Like we all fucking know.
You don't remember those commercials? Dude,
I remember those. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Infomercials all day long on freaking
I'm not saying they were peasant if they used it. I remember
that's terrible software.
What are you talking about, peasant? It was only 4 payments of $19.95. And if you act in the next 20 minutes, you get
you guys are kind
French
of bullies.
as well.
I feel like you're bullies tonight. I feel like you're both a little angry.
Yeah.
To each other? That's normal. Have you seen our show? This is totally normal.
I don't know if I'm gonna go on this trip.
It's gonna be me and Paul yelling at each other.
Fat soft, but soft too.
Get out of here. I want that T-shirt.
I think the Banking Creek, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's available.
We were talking about the Banking Creek bag. The Banking Creek bag is like what everybody wants to get for like $35 after they've gotten a bunch of subscription boxes already.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid box or bag.
It's always good.
Yeah.
It's never bad. Everything matches up very well.
Yeah, like the custom colors. I think that's a fun twist.
Like these that we'll be bringing on this trip. I got the new one for this month, so we're gonna have that in the mix. It's a banger.
Fun. It's solid, dude. It's solid. You're never going home disappointed.
No.
Unless it's full of a bunch of drop shot crap. Then I am.
Whoa.
This one has a drop shot plastic.
Oh god.
This one does have drop shot.
Oh no, it does. But yeah, you never use that for a drop shot. Way better use for
it. Oh yeah, you can do a million other things with that. I'm gonna throw it on underspin. But yeah, so all right. I think we covered a lot of stuff tonight. It's after 10 o'clock. Somehow we pulled this off.
It's a long night. Yeah,
so it's a late one for us typically. So thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. And thanks to Debo for hanging out. We're going to do some content with Debo and Ethan this weekend. It's going to be a blast. So stay tuned for those videos. Obviously, go check out Debo's Fishing on every platform out there. You're probably already following him. That would be my guess. Fair, Paul? Like every time I call it out, I'm like, you guys are you're already subscribed. You better be. So we'll be back next week. And then we get our next Members Only Live June 18th. So it's bedtime, guys. Thanks for watching. We love you. We'll see you next week. Chaz. Actually, no. Wait. We'll see you Friday and Saturday. Friday with us. Saturday with Debo. We'll be live again. So see you in a couple days, guys. All right, now, Chaz, take us out.